Since I sent out my email this morning, I thought I'd tell everybody here in all my classes, we're starting pre-advising this week. So make sure you sign up for your advisor through Starfish and, start the pre-advising process. Of course, about 5 of y'all will do that. 15 of y'all will not. And then you'll wait until the last minute. Everybody's supposed to be looking at me. We're not doing any math right now. Okay? And you'll wait until the last minute, and then your advisor is already past the dates that we're supposed to be doing this and doing their own thing, and then you got to try to catch your advisor. We're doing this for 2 weeks. Okay? After 2 weeks, your advisor is going to go back to what they were doing, going to meetings, and you're not going to be able to catch it. Then you're going to wait until registration, and then everybody's going to gobble up all the classes that you want, and you're not going to be able, and you're going to blame your advisor because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Okay? So for 5 of y'all, today starts, go on Starfish, get your appointment with your advisor, go by and see your advisor, then you can register. For the 15, I'm just telling you, you're not going to do it, but go ahead and try to get your advisor as soon as possible. If you don't know about Starfish, well, call the help desk, they'll help you. Because I'm not going to try to explain it because I can't even get it to work half the time. Anyway, you go on there, you get your advisor's already on there. So when you go to appointment, it will send you to their appointment list, and they have appointment slots, either 15 minutes per or 30 minutes per. And all mine are virtual, so that way you don't have to go around, chasing goose. You can just call at that time or whatever. I'll call you or whatever. Don't walk into the advising session like DAD, okay? You know what major you want to go into. You've got some ideas of what you want to go into. Give them, when they ask you your T number, make sure you have it written down. If you haven't memorized it by yet, you should have memorized it by now. And, give them some indication of what you want to take when they ask you, okay? The DAD thing don't work anymore, okay? It just don't work, especially if you already have a semester or 2 under your belt, okay? So make sure you get that done, because after 2 weeks, it's going to be hard to get it done. Okay? All right. So we left off the other day, and I'm just going to kind of review over what we went over. And of course, we went over, I think, we got up to counting, I think. I'm not sure. But we went over the question about the meals. We went over the question about the codes, and I told you that the codes on the license plate, I think we did a license plate example. The spaces are the exponent. The numbers go up to 10. The letters go up to 26. I think we went over this code problem, and we also went over a license plate problem. I don't know how far we got, but okay, this is as far as we got. This one right here, I don't like to go over this one because you're going to get it confused with another one we're going to go over later. So I tell students to put this one with a word. This one says 14-member committee. I like to tell people say word, W-O-R-D, because sometimes they're going to give you a word like smile, and you figure out how many different arrangements of S-M-I-L-E there are. And the way that you do that is however many you got, 5 letters, smile, S-M-I-L-E. 5 factorial. This one, and you start to see the factorial here. 14 times 13 times 12. And there's 3 people. Okay? 3 offices. Now we're going to go over another one here later, but it's going to be different. So I try not to, you can write that one down, but I probably won't test you on that one. And there is factorial. Factorial, I'm going to give you the Hubertism definition. Hubertism definition of factorial is multiplying numbers in their natural sequence. Multiplying numbers by their natural sequence. So what is 2 factorial? 2 times 1. What is 3 factorial? 3 times 2 times 1. What is 4 factorial? 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Why am I not multiplying by 0? Because that would nullify the whole thing. You wouldn't even have factorials. So you exclude, go ahead and write that down and highlight it, excluding 0. Multiplying numbers in their natural sequence, excluding 0. Your calculator will go up to 70 factorial, I think. So write that down. Anything over 70 factorial, you tell the teacher they need to show you how to calculate it because you can't do it on the calculator. Now what you can do is take 70 factorial, if it's 71 factorial, you take 70 factorial in your calculator and then you multiply it by 71. And then you have to do that with each one, 72, 73, 74. If they give you 75, then you're going to have to do it 5 times. But there's not many teachers that's going to do that. But your calculator will go up to 70, I think. Either 68, 69, or 70, one of those 3. And it's under math, probability, so you might want to write that down. We'll go through that in just a second. Also write down that 0 factorial and 1 factorial are both 1. Don't ask, just write it down. The reason that 0 factorial is 1 is if you had 0, the whole thing would disintegrate. You wouldn't have a factorial. So they had to put in a rule here to kind of keep you from, multiplying by 0. And there it is right there. Now, what is factorial used in? Factorial is used in the word question, like how many different arrangements of SMILE? That's 5 factorial. If there was 7 letters, it would be 7 factorial. All right. It's used in the flags, write down flags or trees, flag/trees, and it's used in permutations and combinations. And that's what we're going to be studying today. That's going to also include chapter 5. So that means Wednesday is what? Pre-test, because y'all don't send any questions. Y'all send a few, but y'all don't send any. So y'all already know the material. Okay. Next. No, I don't usually do that one. You can write it down. It says you have just been hired as a book rep for Pearson Education. So part of your job is to drive teachers crazy throughout the semester. On your first day, you must travel to 7 schools to introduce yourself. How many different routes are possible? Call the 7 schools A, B, C, D, E, F, G, blah, blah, blah. That'd be 7 factorial. Now, I don't test you on this, but I do test you on the word smile, the word, just think of a word. Dog. I'm sorry. Dog. I say dog. Like them dogs. Whoo! Boy, they whooped up on Arkansas. Woo! 37-0. Wow. And how about Kentucky? Kentucky did good. I like that one. I was pretty happy with both of those. But anyway. So the word smile, the word dog, D-O-G, dog. You want a 3 factorial. 3 times 2 is 6. times 1 is 6. So there's 6 different arrangements of DOG. Okay? So that's the kind of thing I would put on a test. I don't really care about this one. I've never seen that one before. I want to get to the flags because that's the one that confuses a lot of people. I'm going to do permutations last. Permutations and combinations, I'm going to get to the flag first. We'll do permutations and combinations last. Give me a second. I'm trying to get to the flags. There they are. Write this question down. For some reason, standardized test, I'm going to blow it up. Standardized test loves this question. I don't know why. Because I'm like, who the hell cares? You know, kind of like that question you had in algebra. Johnny has $7 worth of change in his pockets and he has 3 quarters and 2 dimes. How many nickels and pennies does he have? Who cares? This is one of those that I'm like, who cares? This is also for trees, flags and trees. The question you're going to see on a standardized test about this question with trees is you are a golf course manager and you have 15 trees, 5 oak trees, 7 maple trees, and 4 elm trees. You have different arrangements. How many different arrangements do you have? So trees / flags. And you're going to have a fraction. It's going to be a fraction. And it's going to be the 10 factorial over 5 factorial, 3 factorial, 2 factorial. That's just the way you set it up. Different arrangements of different things. There we go. 10 factorial over each 1 times factorial. Now I can tell you, I do have a tree question on my test, but it comes up on somebody else's test and some of it doesn't. I think the other one, bless you, that's 2. You only got 3. 3 yawns, 3 coughs, 3 sneezes. There is a flag question on there. It reads kind of like this one. So if you had 15 flags and you had 4, 2, and 1, then it'd be 15 factorial over 4 factorial times 2 factorial times 1 factorial. Pretty self-explanatory. Any questions? That's pretty self-explanatory. So there's 2,520 different arrangements of those flags. Now I can understand the trees, but I really don't. Besides somebody at the beach or somebody on a sailing vessel or a boat, I don't know why you would care about flags. I still see people writing, so I'm on. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and write down those. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me go back and let me go to the combination first. The reason I show combination first is because no order. Write that down. No order. Combination means no order. Your questions that you will hear from combination, number 1, lottery. Number 1, lottery. I can't think of. committee. The committee one will read, you have 15 people in a group of people, and you have a 5-member committee. How many people, how many different committees can be created by those 15 people? Always remember with permutation and combination, N is your biggest number. That's usually true in any probability of statistics question. N is always your biggest number. So in that case, 15 people in a group, 15 would be N. What you're wanting, 5-member group, that would be R. R is your smallest number. Now, your permutation and combination can be found on your calculator under math and probability. Just where the factorial is. They're right there together. I think it's 2, 3, and 4. And I'll show you that in just a second. Now, why am I getting you to write the formula down? Just so you'll know it, because I don't ask you to use it. It's just to, when you've got the calculator that will do it for you, there's no critical thinking in plugging into that formula. So I don't mind using the calculator for that. And you'll use math and move over to probability, and I think it's number 2 or 3. Combination is used for lottery, gambling, and committee. What is permutation? Well, if a combination means no order, then what do you think permutation is? Order. There's permutation. Again, the biggest number is N, the smallest number is R. What kind of questions are done with permutation? Race, any race, okay? I can only think of 2 right now. Race and boards. Now, a board has officers on it. A lot of you might have grew up in a Southern Baptist church, which I did, and still am a Southern Baptist. We changed that. We changed that to committees having officers. That's why in the Southern Baptist church, you have committees to have committees to have committees. Anyway, to make a long story short, committees do not have officers. Boards have officers. Okay, so make that distinction because I don't want you to get them mixed up. A board usually has a chairman, vice chairman, at least. That's the least that they have. And then sometimes, depending on if they handle money or not, they have a secretary and a treasurer.
You said boards.
I can't remember. Race. Trifecta. What's a trifecta? Where you gamble on first, second, and third, and you buy up all the tickets for first, second, and third. Some of y'all were thinking color of skin. I know you were. I won't even go there. All right, so race. In other words, a race. NASCAR. You know you spell NASCAR backwards, you got NASCAR. A race car. Or is it race car spelled backwards as race car or NASCAR? I can't remember. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's race car. Race car spelled backwards is race car. So is mom. Anyway, wow. Try to get a blonde spell mom backwards. All right. Trifecta means that if you want to guarantee yourself a win at a race, at a horse race, you buy up every trifecta ticket. Okay, so if you got 14. If you got 14 horses and you want to buy $1 a ticket for trifecta, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Then you got to buy like 1,300 tickets. But you're guaranteed what? You're guaranteed you're going to win. Well, what depends on what you win or not? That depends on the horse. And if the horse is Secretariat or Seabiscuit or a mule, okay, or a goat. In other words, can't run very fast. All right, so that depends on the horses. You're going to get probably 2 or 3 of each of these questions on the test. 2 or 3 permutations, 2 or 3 combinations. So let's go ahead and talk about some. Now, let's go ahead and I'm just going to make them up because I can make them up because they're easy to make up. So I'm going to slide this over, get rid of this, go to the handy dandy calculator so everybody can see where it is. Because after this, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to show you how to do it on an Excel spreadsheet also. So if you want to, let's do 5 permutation 4. So you type in 5, go to math, go to probability, and permutation is number 2. And 4. So if you have 5 people and 5 people in a group and you have a 4-member board, how many different boards can you create with officers from those 5 people? 120. Now you may think, well, that's impossible. But you got to remember, you can have officers in there too, so each one is different. That's what you have to think about, officers. So you can have Billy, Bob, and Mary, and then you can have Billy, Mary, and Bob, and then you can have Bob, Mary, and Billy, but then you got to go back and say, well, what if this one's a chairman, vice chairman, and so on. So that adds more combinations in the permutation. So a combination will always be what? Less than a permutation. Let's do a combination 5, combination 4. 5, math, probability, and combination is number 3 and 4. See, now that makes sense. How many 4-member committees can you make with 5 people? And a lot of you say, oh, that makes sense. 5 makes sense. But why 120? Because each one of those, you've got different arrangements of the board members, of the officers. And factorial. Let's do 6 factorial, or let's do 50 factorial. 50, math, probability. And if you like hotkeys, you can set your hotkeys, but I'm not going to tell you how to do that. And half of you don't even know what a hotkey is. So, and enter, and the BA number. That's 3 and 63 or 64 zeros. Let's do a little one. So I'm going to do second entry. I'm going to change that to 5 and enter. There you go. 5 factorial is 120. So everybody knows how to use your calculator now with factorial. It's not rocket science. So please, those people that can break an anvil with a banana, please don't try with the factorials because it's not that difficult. Now let's go to the spreadsheet. And the reason I go to the spreadsheet is because you can actually do these very easily on the spreadsheet. Let me make it big enough where everybody can see it first. I'm going to spread it out a little bit because factorial and all those are more than just 2 digits. And let's make it And there we go. Now and I'll show you where to find them. Under auto sum over here, you can actually go in and hit more functions, and you can type in factorial, and it should pull it up. Yeah, F-A-C-T. Permute without the E, P-E-R-M-U-T, is permute and combin, C-O-M-B-I-N. Those are your 3 letters or 4 letters or whatever, or factorial. So if I want to do the factorial, I'd hit OK, and then I would type in 4,1, or what do we do? Let's see, factorial 5 we said was what? 120. That's factorial. And then we can do 4, let's see, combin, C-O-M-B-I-N. What was those numbers we did? 5 and 4. 5, 4. I think we got, yeah, 5. And then permute, P-E-R-M-U-T, parentheses, 5, 4, close parentheses. So you can use a calculator or you can use the Excel spreadsheet. All right, let's go to a combination question. And let's go to the South Carolina lottery. Pull that over here. Why am I pulling up the education lottery? Well, because it's a homework question or a test question. South Carolina education lottery. And there is your test question right there. So I'm going to copy that and put it in a Word process. Well, I don't know if I can put it. Let's try it. No, we can try it, but I don't know if it'll work or not. Yep, sure did. And copy that down because that's a test question. Select 5 different numbers from 1 to 69 in the left play area set and 1 to 26 in the right play area set. Now, let me get into a lottery question with you because you're going to get them with a permutation and a combination. Okay, sometimes they like to put a permutation in there and say, what if the numbers had to be in order? And you would do a permutation. How do you win? How do you play the lottery? You got to what? What do you got to do in order to play the lottery? You got to what? You got to buy a ticket. You can't win if you don't what? Play. You got to buy a ticket. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Well, there's 2 types of questions with these gambling questions. One is how many combinations or what is the probability? And then the other one is what is the probability of winning? What do you mean? What's the difference? Well, probability of winning means that they assume that you buy at least what? 1 ticket. and that's in the numerator. Now, I'm telling you that for a reason. Why do you think I'm telling you that? Because on the test, y'all will miss this question because you don't put a 1 in the numerator. And there's 2 or 3 people that wasn't paying attention when I said that. But I know it's the teacher's fault that you missed it, right? So, you buying 1 ticket here. It says each play costs $2. Well, they're assuming that you're buying a ticket. Okay, I'm not talking about the homework question. They're saying each play costs. If you're reading it, chances are you're going to buy a ticket. But the question on the test will say, what is the probability of winning? If you see the word winning, chances are they're assuming you're buying a ticket. So therefore, the probability is going to be 1 over whatever the probability is. Now, sometimes they'll tell you, what if you buy 10 tickets? What if you buy 100 tickets? Those are self-explanatory. But the ones that students get wrong is the ones that just say winning, because they forget to put the 1 in the numerator. I've said that 3 times. Okay, just wanted to make sure I said it enough. Because one of you is going to call me up, however you do it, text me, message me. I got number 13 wrong on the test, and I believe it's right. And I'll go look it up, and guess which one it is? It's the one that says, what is the probability of winning the lottery? And you put the denominator when you should have put the numerator over the denominator, and you got it wrong, and I will not reply, and I will not change it. So for those of you not paying attention, that's why I won't reply and I will not change it. All right. So how do you do this one? Well, what is the probability of getting those 5 ping pong balls and the red ping pong balls? What I put in there? What word? And means what? I multiply. Thank you. This is what I heard. And then I heard multiply. Okay, articulate volume. You're going to multiply. So the problem is going to read 1 over, and then you're going to put your probabilities, which will be 69 combination 5 times 26 combination 1. I'm going to do it on the Excel spreadsheet. Well, if I could get out of, there we go. All right, so I'm going to get out of this. And I'm going to pull up, well, let's go with the calculator first. I'm going to try to pull it over here so I can, well, I was going to pull it over here, but forget it. All right, so I've got to do 69. Turn it on first. Was on. 69, math, probability, combination of 5. That's a BA number, so I'm going to stow it. Where's the stove? Where you get bread. Stove, and I'm going to call it alpha A. I think that's A right there. I can't see because it's at an angle. No, alpha A is up here, math. And I'm going to stow that. Now I'm going to clear it. And I'm going to do 26 combination 1. Whenever you do 26 combination 1, 35 combination 1, it's always the first number. So this will be 26, but I'm gonna do it just so you can see it. 26, and if you don't want to, you can do second, enter, second, enter, and you can just retype it right here. 26, combination 1, and it will always come out that first number. And you can stow alpha B. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the denominator because sometimes they want you to do a fraction instead of a decimal. So let's get the denominator. So alpha A plus times alpha B. Hold on a minute. Y'all ever want a challenge? Try working a calculator at a 30-degree angle with a mouse. Alpha A times alpha B. There is your denominator, 292,201,338. Now that's what you should get on your calculator. And 1, put 1 over that, that's your probability of winning. Okay? And then do the denominator, 1 divided by second answer. Enter. It's going to be 8 zeros and 342. So 0.80342. So let's do it on the Excel spreadsheet. So N is equal to, we got 2 N's. One N is equal to what, 69? And then we got another N equal to 26. E right here, or R, is equal to 1. And my N here, or my star here, is equal to 5. Complete. And then I go down here and I put a 1 right here. And then equals, and I'm going to do combin, C-O-M-B-I-N, parentheses, this guy, where's my mouse? This guy, comma, this guy. And equals, combin, parentheses, this guy, comma, this guy. And then go down here, and that's a 1 equals this guy times. Now I'm going to leave it there because that's pretty much what they want on the test and the homework. Very rarely do they ask you for a probability like that in a decimal because there's so many zeros. So they usually want 1 over 200. And you can go back and check your handy dandy probability on your, I'm trying to find it, but the calculator is covering it up. And there we go. Trying to find my, there we go. And let's check the odds for winning the lottery. Supposed to have it right under here. There you go. Look at there. Y'all just figured it. Isn't that special? 292,201,338. Now, if you did a permutation, you would have you'd have a better chance at walking out in the parking lot, getting hit by lightning, then getting run over by a train and a bus than to get it in order. And we'll do that next just so you can see it. So over here, I'm going to do a permutation. So 1 over, and this is going to be equal permute, parentheses, and my mouse has disappeared again. There we go. 69, comma 5, close parentheses, and then same thing here, and I'll just hit Control C, Control C, Control V. And I'll just go over here and do 26 and 1. 6 and 1. Always comes out to be 26. And then, of course, 1 over equals this times this. I can't see that, but it looks like 35,160,560. So yeah, you got a better chance at getting struck by lightning, getting hit by a train and a truck out there in the parking lot with no train tracks. You got a better shot at it. So you can see that the permutation is always going to be bigger than the combination because the combination has no what? Order. Question, gripe, complaint. All right, well, that concludes chapter 5. So that means Wednesday, we will go through the pretest. And that means your dates will be signed on your homework and your test. Okay? Let me shut her down. And we will call the roll, and you can leave as your name is being called.